So I'm here today because our principal has asked me to put together and present a quick presentation that covers the safe, legal, and ethical uses of digital information. To start with, I want to bring to your attention that it is important to use technology in our classrooms. I'm not here to tell you that we shouldn't use it and that it's too dangerous, but I do want to bring to your attention the potential dangers of it as well. So for my presentation, I will cover the dangers, the legal rights, some safety tips, and the ethical use. I've handed you guys all a handout that talks about each one of these four main topics and some important things to remember under each one of these topics. If you have any questions or concerns while I'm going through my presentation, please feel free to stop me. So our first topic is the dangers of internet. The biggest danger is cyberbullying, and according to DoSomething.org, nearly 42% of kids have been bullied online, and almost 1 in 4 say that it happens to them frequently. Because kids have so many different technology devices today, things such as their cell phones, such as iPhones, Blackberries, to their iPads, to their iPods, everything that allows them to get online, cyberbullying can happen anywhere and at any time. This includes on school grounds, in our classrooms. Another potential is exposure to inappropriate material. Children may come across inappropriate information on the internet by chance, or they may have sought out for these websites themselves. Sometimes when we're in the computer lab and working on material for class, they are done early or they get distracted and some of their friends go on websites that they think are funny to look at that are in reality inappropriate. Sometimes even mistyping a word can result in sites coming up which may not be appropriate for children to see. Children being exposed to material that is not suited for their age is always dangerous. A third potential danger is online predators. This can be done on online social networking sites such as Facebook and MySpace, instant messaging. They can talk to a predator without them even know that they're a predator. They might think that they're their friend from class, and in reality it is a predator. The final internet danger is revealing too much personal information. Just like the danger of potential predators, kids sometimes give strangers their personal information because they think it's their friend, and they give them their cell phone number and their address to come see them. And in reality, that puts them into some serious danger as well. So secondly, I will discuss the legal rights. Like I have listed in this presentation, the copyright law is a set of exclusive rights granted to the author or creator of an original work, including the right to copy, distribute, and adapt the work. I think all users need to understand and model copyright laws and fair use policies, which brings me to the fair use policy. And while this is a little tricky to understand, the definition in these examples that I will give you will kind of hopefully clear up any concerns and questions that you may have about it. So the fair use policy is the right to use copyrighted material without permission or payment under some circumstances. And I think that last part is very important because it is only allowed under certain circumstances, and these 5 practices where it is accepted to practice fair use of copyrighted materials, wherever or however it occurs, like I've listed in K through 12 education, also in higher education, such as nonprofit organizations, programs for children and youth, and also in adult education. When it comes to breaking the fair use policy, the penalties for infringement become very harsh. The court can award up to $150,000 for each separate act of willful infringement. Some examples that will hopefully clear things up. A fair use example is a teacher renting the movie Gone with the Wind to show the burning of Atlanta scene to her class while studying the Civil War. While an example of a case not covered under fair use is a high school video class produces a student video yearbook that they will sell at community events to raise money for equipment. They use well-known popular music clips, and the money all goes to the school, and the songs are fully listed in the credit. So while these two examples are somewhat similar, the outcomes are completely different. The first one is legal while the second one is illegal. So as teachers, I think it's important for us to know the copyright laws and the fair use policies ourselves in order to educate our students about these laws as well. So my next topic are some important safety tips to remember as a teacher. The first one, you could install safety software programs. These are programs that help monitor kids online and what they can look at and what they can't look at. And one of the softwares I found is called Safe Eyes. And this one is cool because it can be put on mobile devices as well. A second tip is to recognize the warning signs of potential risks. This includes excessive time on the internet, or maybe even avoiding the internet, or even dramatic changes in friends. This could also be a potential risk. A third tip is to place a time limit on the amount of computer time that your students have. While it's good to use the internet for education, it's also important that they get their schoolwork done and then they move on to another activity. While you give them too much time on the internet, that's when they kind of goof around on the websites that they're maybe not supposed to be on. My final tip is to learn how to use these devices and explore the same websites yourself. This could include things such as like webcams. Although they don't really use these at school, they are kind of a safety concern at home. When you use these websites yourself and learn how these devices work, not only are you helping your students learn how to use these, but you're becoming well aware of what's going on in your students' lives as well. So my final topic is the ethical use. Another way to look at this topic is to ask yourself if what you're doing online is morally correct. Some things teachers should do is use technology in the classroom to teach respect for the intellectual property rights of others. This means since you're using computers that are district owned, it's important that your students learn that they're given this privilege, but they have to be respectful of other people's property. Something else teachers should do is always cite in documents and handouts of any type that they hand out to their students. By doing this, you're showing your students that, yes, I took some information from somebody else, but I am citing it in my document to show you that this wasn't mine. Something else is to model privacy rights of your students. This one was kind of interesting because I didn't know that this was such a concern, but things such as posting your students' names online, their pictures online without permission is not ethically right. Also, teach your students how and when to cite sources themselves. By teaching your students to do this early on, it will protect them later on in their life. And like we all know, we all have to cite our essays and everything that we use now, so it's important to learn how to do that at an early age. Finally, talk about cyber ethics in your classroom. I think this would be cool to do as a lesson by asking your students to go up to the whiteboard and listing what is okay to put online and to look at online and what is not okay to do and look at online. That way they know what is okay and what's not, and they can maybe write it down in their notebook and keep it for later use when you need to bring up the topic again. So I hope my presentation has kind of given you some ideas and tips to use in regards to the safe, legal, and ethical use of digital information. Also on your handouts, I have listed the resources that I used to put together this presentation, so if you want to learn maybe more about one of these topics, you can go on there, and the sites are fun and easy to use. So if you have any questions, you can let me know as well.